car chase that never existed. I'm just throwing this little conspiracy theory out there. So I've been reflecting on that whole mess that was the parade up and down New York's busiest streets, just looking for paparazzi to try to take a photo of them. We all know that this was staged by Meghan and Marky Mark and Scooby-Doo and also Doritos. But too bad for them, it all blew up in their faces. Their best laid plans just backfired spectacularly. And I've been thinking about the why and how. I mean, it could just be that they're incompetent. That's very possible. But I'm also curious. Maybe there was an external source that deliberately messed things up for them. Maybe some agencies that are not happy about them in the past and they were looking for payback. We already know it's not like they've made a lot of friends, but who in their recent past had the knowledge to do this kind of damage to them? Well, if you want the answer, maybe you need to look inside the car. So Doria didn't look too worried about the whole situation. Harry looked enraged and he was looking at his phone. And then Meghan, of course, had that rictus grin on her face. Now, Harry, I think, really believes that he is being stalked by the paparazzi. But see, narcissists like Meghan, they love the chaos they stir up. So I think that's why Meghan looked pleased as punch. And Meghan, of course, got some meaningless award, not exactly the Oscar that she was wanting. Completely irrelevant attention seeker who's trying to be interesting to someone, anyone. That is who Meghan Markle is in a nutshell. I don't think this is something that a single person could pull off. So I was thinking, who in the world could it be? So I started asking around. I asked some of my contacts, and there was one name that just kept on being mentioned. And the name I heard, of course, I cannot verify that it's true. I mean, maybe they were just pulling my leg. But it did make a lot of sense to me. They had a little run-in with the privacy poopers extraordinaire. They had trouble getting their money, and they ended up looking bad thanks to the screw-ups of Harry and Meghan. So could it be that Sunshine Sachs was actually involved in all of this? You know what they say, revenge is a dish best served cold, and I would just love it if the top people there gave the green light on this whole debacle. So could it be that they're behind the whole setup and that gold tie security guy knew all about it? But of course, they messed it up big time. It didn't go as well as they thought it would. Now, the taxi driver claimed that there was filming going on from one of the SUVs. I'm sure that was for Netflix, and also, of course, so they could use it as evidence for this upcoming court case, because they are so desperate to get IPP status back. But anyway, I just love the idea that they may be involved. Now, I don't have a lot of respect for Sunshine Sachs. I mean, they have played a role in this whole mess from the very beginning. Actually, I probably shouldn't even be calling them by name, just in case they come to me and claim that I'm insulting them. Unless, of course, they want to admit that they really did play a role in all of this. Harry and Meghan, though, are a couple of scumbags. I mean, they're so dishonorable. They're a couple of narcissists. They throw these little temper tantrums. They're bullies. They don't have any manners. And they are so disrespectful towards everybody, not to mention abusive towards animals and pets and families and people. Their families covered up some of their worst behavior, like giving grapes to a cat because they knew it was going to make the cat sick, or supergluing a classmate's eyes shut and almost leaving her blind. Her father tried to cover up the evidence by throwing money at her mistakes and trying to cover up her crimes, and Harry's really the same. His poor polo pony had these bloody marks on it from where Harry used his spurs to dig into the poor thing, and it died. Harry's already famous for abusing women and animals and families and friends. And now we see these two all proud of their award for being such wonderful people. They were recognized and they wore their badges proudly. They wore masks of kindness, but underneath all that phoniness was a cold-blooded snake. I believe they always had these characteristics, but these characteristics were covered up for the sake of the family members. How embarrassing it was for all of them. They have not changed. They're not better people. They just reek of mistakes and failures and hypocrisy. They were always talking about saving the world, talking to veterans, taking charitable money for themselves, working a single hour a year, spending a lot of money they don't have, stealing valuable things and lying and cheating, and putting the blame on everybody else except for themselves. Because let's remember, they are always the innocent victims in all of this. But no, just like a leopard cannot change its spots, these two will never change their evilness. Like a couple of snakes, they know how to stalk their prey. They hide from their prey, they lurk in the shadows. They watch from afar, but also close by. and they'll sit until they see an opportunity, and then they will spring into action and get the prey on their side. Their fathers enabled their relatives to conquer and divide by throwing money at their crimes without any real responsibility from their adult children. And they'll never change thanks to these codependents within each of their households. But anyway, in other news, the alleged environmentalist Meghan Markle, who spent over $1 million on fashion during her first year as a working royal, and who has never shown up wearing the same outfit again ever. The woman who certainly has not been a role model to young girls who are interested in fashion, because she basically teaches them you can wear it once or wear it never. These are clothes that they just bought on a whim. And there are many parents out there who still have to take care of their children who are over 30 years old and are not children at all anymore. People who can't afford to pay rent, definitely not buy their own property, thanks to their addiction to spending and using credit cards that are going to eat up all their superannuations when they retire. Some people admit that they don't even need to buy a home because eventually they're going to inherit their parents' place. If Meghan wants to be a role model for young people, maybe she should start recycling her clothes like Princess Catherine does. Princess Anne, too, and the late Queen always did that. Just take a look at how many clothes end up in the landfill. There is a very good reason why Catherine decided to rent her outfit for the Boston Earthshot Awards presentation. She doesn't want to be a hypocrite. Catherine is not haughty. See, she'll rewear something more than once. People need to learn to shop less and appreciate the clothing they do have. And let's remember, new is not always the best. In fact, your highest quality clothing is probably what you've had the longest. It's true that they just don't make clothing like they used to. Recently, I pulled out a 10-year-old tailored jacket to wear, and I remembered that I bought it from a fashion chain for $25. Originally, it was $50, so I bought one in each color to wear as a business jacket. They're satin lined, they're really nice, and you know what? If I had to buy it today, I'm sure it would be about $150 at least. Now, when it comes to Meghan and Catherine, the two could not be more different. Even their body types are insanely different. Catherine is slim and gorgeous, and she looks good in everything. She has a very good sense of fashion, and it suits her. She always looks perfect. Like many other women in the public eye, I'm guessing she does have a stylist or a fashion team, but still, her looks always appear natural and effortless. But Meghan, on the other hand, needs to figure out what works for her. She needs to dress the body she actually has rather than the body that she wishes she had. She would look a lot better if she had a team to help her. I think they call it a glam squad, like the Real Housewives. A stylist, a seamstress, and a hairdresser and makeup artist. They could help her a lot to look better. Whenever I see Catherine make an appearance, my jaw just drops because she always looks striking. But with Meghan, I always just say, what in the world is that woman doing? Meghan does not have an off-the-rack body shape, and that's okay. I don't either. But that also means that she needs more help. She needs a personal, professional seamstress. But Meghan's a narcissist, and so it doesn't matter what any professional advises her of. She always knows best, and she's going to insist on doing things her way. That explains the ill-fitting clothing, including that wedding dress. And I think at one point Meghan did have a glam squad. She probably fired most of them, though. Anyway, if anybody's still around, clearly they are not working out well for her. What a nightmare being Meghan's stylist anyway. Can you imagine? You could never tell her what to do. She's never going to listen to anyone, and definitely not people she has hired to help her. She is just so full of herself. She believes that she knows everything. Meghan's clothes wear her, that's the truth. It is not the other way around. And she's not overweight. I mean, there's nothing wrong with her body, but she just doesn't know how to dress well for her body type. Why is she wearing that bulky stuff all the time? And just a final note, Catherine looks flawless just like all the other royal ladies have through the years. They rewear their outfits, and then we've got Meghan, who just never looks good. She's always a walking disaster. And of course, there's a real difference in the body types of Catherine and Meghan. But surely Meghan can look at herself in the mirror before she heads out just to see if everything looks right. And as the stylist, if she has one, just let her walk out like that.